What's up, everybody? It is your doctor, Dr. Remy LeBeau, here again in the X-Layer to provide you with your daily treatment to help you deal with your X-Men statue withdrawal syndrome, something that is congenital and runs rampant throughout your family, and you can't help but experience and be debilitated by. I'm here to help you get through every single day with as much X-Men statue material as possible. Today I am comparing two very cool Storm statues, two different eras, but two complementary eras. Two eras for the production of statues of Storm, as well as eras that these statues represent for the evolution of the design of the character of Storm that we all know and love. Maybe too well, maybe not well enough. Some of you need to get reading some comics, is the point I'm trying to make there. It's time to read some more X-Men comics. Both of these statues are produced by Bowen Designs, as you all know, and the purpose of this video is sort of to give you an idea of like the differences in the two, and in case you're sort of on the fence about getting a Storm statue versus another one, you know, hopefully this will provide you some insight into the decision process and help to guide you through your difficult decision. Obviously, in the end, you win because they're both very awesome statues, and whichever one you wind up with, you're gonna love. So the statue on the left here is the Flying Pose Storm, and the statue on the right here is the Punk Storm. The Flying Pose Storm is the original design for Storm. So if you're looking for like the original, if you're looking to make like an original like giant-sized X-Men display, then it's definitely this is definitely the statue to get. But fortunately, if this statue maybe is too bulky, you don't necessarily like the pose that much, even though the pose is very friggin' cool and dynamic, there is a statue in this costume that's a variant of the Punk Storm statue, which is like a museum pose. It's like more sort of condensed as far as the area it takes up. So there is another version of this statue available for you. I don't have that statue to show you, so you'd have to sort of compare it online with this one, online via photos that you might find. The only version of that statue I have is a Modern Storm custom conversion that I had made from that statue, which I'll compare and contrast with these eventually. Okay, so this one here was actually produced probably like 10 years earlier than the Punk Storm. It was done in 2002, and it was sculpted by Mark Newman, and it's a very dynamic pose, and there were two of these made. There was this one and the white costume Storm version, which is from the 90s. So eventually I'll do a video of these two together so you can see like the similarities between the two, in case you're on the fence about this one versus the other Flying Pose one. This one here was produced a lot more recently, 2012. Okay, so pretty much 10 years after this one was produced. This one was sculpted by Mike Cusinelli, and there, as I said, there's also a variant of this one. So currently there are 4 Storm statues in existence, both produced by Bowen Designs. Now, as far as the bases go on these, here you've got the classic X base, which has a very nice design, and it's a little bit more elevated than the standard bases used to be, which I think is the height of this sort of top layer of the statue. Like the bottom part, which is kind of like a riser, is elevating the statue up to the point where I think it makes it into like a 1-foot statue, which is the minimum requirement that Bowen needs to meet in their production pieces to satisfy their contract requirements with Marvel, with their Marvel license that they have. So I think that's why these bases have gotten taller. So as far as like the height goes, they're both pretty much the same height. Obviously the base on this one is a lot more elaborate, and I think this one comes with a riser, slightly rising it maybe like half an inch or like an inch, and I'm using that riser with the white costume version of the statue. I might be wrong. That riser might go with that statue. So I know one of them comes with a riser, and I'm using it with the white costume Flying Pose version of Storm. But the base is like obviously very elaborate. It's got this dark gray cloud, and this one actually comes with like uh, 3 lightning bolts, like yellow lightning bolts that go into the slits that you probably see in the video. Like here you can see one of the slits there. But I choose not to display with those because when I'm dusting, they tend to fall out, and it's just kind of annoying. But if you're displaying it in a glass case and you don't need to dust it that often, it will probably behoove you to have them in there because they do look cool. But it just for me it started getting annoying. Like I would dust and then maybe one would fall out and I would have to like look for it because it falls into like the leprechaun lair beneath my carpet or something. I don't know. It just like disappears for a while, and it just got annoying enough where I just decided to get rid of it. But yeah, so this one obviously has a lot more elaborate base than this one. As far as the costume go, obviously this one is a lot more sparse as far as covering the body. So if you're looking just for like a sexy body to look at on top of just looking at your favorite character, obviously this is a statue to go for. But Mike Cusinelli is known for doing like really nice like female body sculptures. So this is a Mike Cusinelli piece, and you can see that all the curves are there. She's beautiful. She's just like the beautiful Storm that you expect to see in any representation, be it 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional. But obviously she's like covered up, and she's covered up in a very cool way. She's got like these leather pants and like this tube top and like this cool like vest, like armless vest, and then she's got these nice gloves. So as far as the costume goes, like this is a very cool costume and definitely representative of like the 80s, whereas this one is sort of more like larger than life superhero design of a costume with like the cape. It's like classic, like I think Dave Cockrum maybe designed it. I might be wrong about that, but I think it might have been Dave Cockrum who designed it. And it's just like classic, like like I said, superhero design of a costume where it doesn't necessarily have like a practical element to its design, but it looks really cool, on a superhero that's like flying and has like superpowers. So it looks really nice, and I think if you're just looking for if you're comparing these on design, like they each have like the great value, a great amount of value to the individual design of the costumes that she's wearing. So I can't really say that one is better than the other. Both kind of represent Storm in like the various eras accurately and very coolly. If that is indeed a word. I guess it's a word now. I have a poetic license in case you guys didn't know. All right. And as far as the faces go, I'm going to say, I like both faces, but I'm going to say that Mike Cusinelli's kind of takes the cake as far as being the better face sculpt for Storm. It's a little bit more... Actually, this one's really nice. This one's really good. In fact, this one I think captures like the design of the comics in the era really well. Like it really represents Storm. I think in the way Dave Cockrum drew her. So I don't really think there's a problem with this one. But this one, I don't know, it's just slightly prettier. So this one has a more beautiful face. Obviously, as far as the hair goes, she's got the white flowing hair here, and the signature characteristic of this version of Storm is the mohawk. So you can't really say one is better than the other. It's just they're both, again, different versions of Storm, the look of Storm reflecting the era in which she existed in this form. So both beautiful, both done really well. The mohawk on this one is done really well though. It's got a lot of like sort of detail to the actual mohawk itself. It's got a lot of shading and lines, and it's really nice. It's a really nice piece. And of course, as far as, like I said, like this one is very dynamic. This one is very reserved, sort of museum pose, and this one looks great they both look great in a display. This one takes up less room in a display if you're looking to make like a team display. This one takes up more room, you can see, and the best way to display her is kind of like at an angle, so you kind of see her like flying, flying off at an angle, so you can kind of catch more of like the body and like the pose, because there's really a lot to look at here. It's not just like there's not just like legs, it's not just like a regular body. It's a body pose in a very particular way to represent the fact that she's flying, and there's just a lot to look at, and so you wanna get her at an angle where you can look at as much as that of that as possible. It you know relative to where you generally are looking at her from, like the angle from which maybe you're sitting in your office and she's in a particular spot in your office, and you want to make sure you get as much of her as possible in your line of sight. So yeah, so these are both great storm statues. They both, if you're looking to just kind of collect storm statues, they're both great to get. And I think they look great together. I mean, let me put them closer together here without getting them out of the frame. But here they are. You got the flying and the punk storm together. Both beautiful. If you're looking to just represent Storm because you're a big Storm fan, here they are together, beautiful. And like I said, there's two other versions of these there's the flying pose version in the white costume, which you can maybe put somewhere in here as well, and then like the museum pose version of this costume could also maybe fit in somewhere here, and you can make a really nice Storm display if that's all you're looking to make. And that's pretty much it, folks. As far as which one wins, I don't know. I don't think either one wins. I think they're both really beautiful, and if you're a fan of Storm, you appreciate them both as being just like beautiful representations of Storm. If you're looking to make a choice between them, again, I think space is going to be a big determinant. Another actually important determinant is going to be money. I think this one, because she's more limited, like there's only 340 of these in existence. She was a website exclusive in the Bowen Designs website. I think this one is going to wind up costing more in the long run if you're looking to find her. This one, because I think there were like 1,500 made. No, okay, there were 3,000. So there's 3,000 of these in existence. I think you would have an easier time trying to find this one at a reasonable price. But because it's been 10 years, still, collectors have picked her up. They have her in their collection. So that kind of does offset the fact that there's so many. I'm going to say this one's, right now it's like June of 2013. This one's going at about 200, 150 to 200. I think maybe more along the lines of 200. This one's like over 200 now, like maybe 2 to 250. So if it's a price issue and you're looking to just buy one of these, you would probably you'd probably get a better deal with this one here, as far as just like like the nominal price you would pay. But if you're just looking, like I said, if you're looking to make a purchase of one and you don't know which one to get, and none of these other issues are a concern to you, it's hard for me to say which one's better, but I'm gonna have to say it's the Punk Storm, and that might just be a personal preference situation, because I like this look of Storm so much. Like, I think it's really cool and cutting edge and like awesome, and I always loved it in the comics. So it's one of those situations where it's kind of like a polarizing question of whether people like her or not. A lot of people tend to either hate or love the Punk Storm look. I tend to love it. I'm sure other people do as well, but I've heard a lot of people just hate it and thought it was like the wrong direction for her character to go. But I think more modern readers, given that right now, like in Uncanny X-Force Volume 2, she's like cut her hair into a mohawk again. I think more modern readers that are maybe just starting reading comics and appreciating Storm for the first time in comics might actually be more inclined to get this one, because it does kind of have that mohawk look, which is like the look that's like current and maybe the newer readers can identify with. Alright folks, that pretty much does it for this comparison video of these two lovely ladies, who's actually the same lady. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the blog post, in which I have links to each individual statue's post, so you can check out more photos and the individual videos for both of these lovely ladies. And I've got plenty more stuff to come, so stay tuned. And I hope y'all enjoying the stuff I'm putting out. My blog, just in case you don't know, is X-Men Statues of Future Past.blogspot.com. My YouTube channel is Dr. Remy LeBeau's Xlair. And as always, I'd like to say that let's put an X in the box because ain't nobody checking me. Hope you all take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.